Hi everyone, and welcome to another tutorial in the Introduction to C# in Unity 3D series. So we're going to talk about data types now. Starting off with, what is a data type? So data types refer to a type of data. For example, the letter A is a character. A sequence of characters, such as in your name, is called a string data type. And then we have other data types, for example, integers, decimals, and so on. Now, C# is a strongly typed language, which means that you have to indicate the data type of the value that a variable will refer to. And this is unlike in JavaScript, where it's loosely typed and you don't have to indicate the data type. Now, data types are useful because they're going to give us information about the size of the memory location, the range of data that can be stored inside that memory location, and the possible range of operations that can be performed on a particular data type. So we're talking about memory again and again. Why? So data types in C#, it can be organized, or they can be categorized according to memory allocation. So there's three fundamental data types based on memory allocation, and these are value data types, reference data types, and pointer data types. Now we're going to go over these briefly, and then in the next tutorials we're going to cover int, strings, etc. So this is just a brief eagle's eye view of data types in C#. So value data types are those that hold a data value within their own designated personal memory space. So these values are placed inside static memory, which is called stack, and we'll come to stack moving on. And there are two categories of value data types: structs, which stands for structure, and some examples of structs are int, decimal, double, etc. Okay, and each one of these value data types will have some memory allocated to it. So for example, integers have 32 bits allocated. And then the second category of value data types are enums, and enums stands for enumeration, and an enumeration is a set of named integer constants. And once again, when we start discussing each data type in detail, we'll come to enums. Now the second category of data types based on memory allocation are reference data types. So reference data types contain a reference to the variable in the stack, and the value of the variable is stored in the heap. And if you wait for maybe like 3 to 4 seconds more, we'll discuss stack and heap. So some examples of reference data types are strings, arrays, objects, classes, and so on. Okay, now the third data type based on memory allocation is the pointer data type, and just a brief definition. We won't cover this in detail right now, but the pointer data type is a variable whose value is the address of another variable. So the important ones that we're going to use, like in relation to Unity 3D when you're starting out, are the value data types and the reference data types. So let's have a look at this picture here, which is of the stack and heap. So on the right, you can see that I've declared two variables, right? So int a is equal to 5 and string day is equal to the string mon, which stands for Monday. So the first one is a value data type, right? It's an integer. And the second one is a string, so it's a reference data type. So what happens is, when we declare a variable, it is going to allocate some memory which contains the name of the variable, the data type, and the value of that variable. So we can see here that int a is stored in the stack along with its value, which is the number 5. And we know from before that value data types have memory allocated to them, and the int value data type has 32 bits allocated to it. And then out here we can see that string, the variable day, which is of the string data type, has its reference stored in the stack, but the actual value of the variable, which is the string min, is stored in the heap, which is dynamically created during runtime. Okay, so what happens is that searching or fetching starts in the stack. So we'll find a and its value in the stack itself, and as you read the program from top down, we're going to come across string day is equal to min, and once again searching is going to start in the stack, and this time we're going to find the day variable with its reference stored in the stack, and following the reference we'll come down to the value of the variable in the heap, which is a dynamically created memory during runtime, whereas stack is static memory. So that's all for this tutorial, everyone. In the next tutorial we're going to start discussing these data types: int, string, bool, etc.